What's happening, everyone? Hope everyone had an amazing and awesome Memorial Day weekend. I know here at the beach, it was very crowded. The weather was perfect, and it was an awesome, awesome weekend. Had a little bit of showers here and there throughout the weekend, but overall, it was sunny blue skies. Hopefully, everything's coming through tonight, and you guys can hear me well. My videographer yelled at me, and I'm trying to get this microphone. He said to have the microphone like that it sounds better than when I have it more directly in front of me like this, that it sounds better to the side like this. So everyone who's joining in, I see we're starting to get people in the coming in and starting to join in. Tell me, does it sound good? Does it look good? I need to know. But also, I want you to do me a favor tonight as we get started. I want you to take a moment right now, go over to the comment section, type in hey, and tell me where you're watching from tonight. Would love to know where my viewers are coming in. And we're going to have us a good time tonight. We're going to talk about retiring to the Myrtle Beach area. And is it affordable now? Can you do it? And we'll discuss some options for moving to the area. Now, I am working on getting a few guests coming in the near future as we continue to ramp back up doing these live videos every week or every other week. I will tell you in a few weeks I won't be able to do these because I'm helping at our church. We have kids camp coming up, and I'm in charge of the tech. I'm the tech guy. So I'll be helping to run sound, video, lights, all that fun stuff. So we won't have one for probably 2 weeks or so because of rehearsals and everything for that, but they will come back, I promise. But anyway, let's just talk a little bit. Let's have some fun tonight, and we're going to discuss it. I will tell you, I did talk earlier today with my lender, Erica. She is on board to come back. She just couldn't make it tonight. She had dinner reservations, and dinner was more important than me. I was a little upset about that, but it's okay. But I see some people are starting to come in. This is awesome. Let's see who's joining in tonight. So we have Dora coming in. She says, hello, Jeremy. Hello, Dora. Nice to see you. Tom said, your idea of crowded beach isn't the same as New Jersey shore beaches. You know, Tom, as somebody who grew up in Pennsylvania and visited the Jersey Shore many, many times during my childhood, I'd have to agree with you. The beaches here are definitely not quite as bad. And part of it is because our beaches are a little bit bigger, a little bit more wide here and a little bit flatter. So I think it makes more usable space for people to enjoy at the beach. But I can say there are some sections here where the beach can get a little crowded. We have our secret spots. I can't really say it live in the stream because then everyone's going to come, and my spot that I enjoy that's for my family where it's kind of nice and quiet and peaceful will just be filled with everyone. And while I love y'all, I still love the section of the beach. So if you want to know that, maybe hit me up with a message and I can tell you that later. Let's see who else is here. GT's in again. Hey, Jeremy, watching from Greensboro, North Carolina. Renee's in as well. She's in Columbus, Ohio. Renee, you're not too far from my brother. He lives up that way in New Albany, I think it's called, is the area he's at. I think that's somewhat near where you're living right now. Let's see who else is in here tonight. Moth Preparedness headed up to Cherry Grove section end of July. Can't wait. Yeah, Cherry Grove is a very, very popular section of the beach. For those of you that may not know the beach area, Cherry Grove is going to be up on the northern end. And I realized I can't do this much with my hands because then the camera focuses on my hands instead of my face. Unless I want to just mess with you all night, I can do that. But I'll try not to do too much of that either. Sorry, I'm working on it. New equipment. We're working here. We're getting there. I promise you. But Cherry Grove, it's a great section of the beach up on the northern end, just north of North Myrtle Beach. Very, very popular. People love visiting there. It seems to be really kind of one of those big hot spots for the 4th of July. I'm wondering, Moth, are you coming to that section? Oh, you said the end of July, so it's after that. Okay, no worries. And then let's see. Big Mike's jumped in here and said south of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Awesome. Well, guys, it's so fun to be with you tonight. Hopefully, the sound is better on the audio. I'm working on it, getting those things better. But as I was mentioning just a couple minutes ago, the weather here this last weekend was phenomenal. It was hot, though. Let me show you. So, here is from our local meteorologist, Ed Piotrowski. He shared this last week on the heat index for this last weekend, and as someone who yesterday stood on the grill and we celebrated my daughter's 16th birthday yesterday and had a bunch of her friends over. And so I stood by the grill that was, five, 600 degrees. It was hot. It was very hot. But as you can see here, the heat index, which is taking the temperature plus the humidity and mix it all together to say it feels like, I would definitely agree with this. And one of the things I want you guys to notice as you look at this map here, not this map, but this graphic, is that your cooler temperatures are going to be along the coastline. Well, why is that? It's because of that breeze that comes off of the ocean all the time. But as you start to get more inland here into Conway and Florence and Marion, those temperatures went from 93 on Monday up to 98. Up here in Lumberton, which is just over the border into North Carolina, it was hot there. It was 98 degrees up there. So it was miserable, I'm sure. But have no fear because I just did see, and I'll see if I can quick. Ed shared earlier today that fantastic weather's on the way. He likes to make these fun graphics. And so here's the muggy meter for right now for the rest of the week. We're going to be pleasant Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And as we get into Sunday next week, it's going to go up just a little bit into more humid. And he also was sharing, where was it? Here's kind of the weather so you can see the temperatures for the next several days. Mid 80s tomorrow, low 80s. I can take that with down into the 60s at night. Gonna be perfect, perfect summer weather. But we're not here tonight to talk about the weather. We don't want to talk about weather, do we? I mean, if you want me to, I'll continue to talk on about weather. Let's see here. What did he say? Moth said, staying about 2 blocks from the preserve, right on one of those canals. Yeah, so that's the great areas when you get up there in a Cherry Grove. There's kind of like the marsh that's behind it. Oh, I did it with my hand again. Sorry. But there's kind of like this marsh that's on the backside of the ocean. And so you have these canals where the water comes in and out, that you can have that waterfront property type of thing and just be a block or two from the ocean as well. So very, very cool. But anyway, tonight we want to talk about retiring to this area. I read an article and just I'm kind of telling on myself here, but I shot some videos last week. In fact, where do I have them? Right here. Here's the scripts. I shot videos on Friday afternoon with my videographer talking about a recent article that I saw. And let me pull this up here because this is going to be interesting for you all to see. But this is from Pods, the company that has the shipping containers that you can pack all your things in and have your stuff moved to where you need it. Well, they did a survey like they do every single year. And in this survey, it talks about the top places people want to move. And so if we start to look at this article and come down here, let's take a look at some of the trend takeaways. We're seeing more people move to the Southern Appalachian region, which includes states like North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama. People are also continuing to move to select Florida cities and longstanding retirements favorites such as Boise and Portland, Maine, and Phoenix. What is the best state to live in? And it goes through talking about it, based on all those good basic things you want to know about affordability, all that stuff. But where are most people moving to? Our latest data shows that Americans are still seeking out new homes in sunny southern states, but where they are unpacking is starting to shift. This year's Pod's long distance moving data reveals that movers are swapping out previously hot movable markets like Florida and Texas for spots like Tennessee and the Carolinas and Georgia. Interesting stuff. So, cities with the highest number of move ins. Last year, Florida claimed half of the top 10 spots on our list. This year, that stat goes to a rising dynamic duo of North and South Carolina. We see the Greenville Spartanburg, South Carolina, climbing 6 spots to number 4 on the list, while North Carolina's Charlotte, Raleigh, and Asheville made equally notable gains. But even more impressive, this is the part I wanted to get to. Even more impressive, the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina area holds onto its crown as the number one most moved to city for the second year in a row. A pod's trend moving first. So, why the love towards the Carolinas? And it goes through here and it talks about it. And there's basically three main, let me bring my face back up here. There's basically three main reasons that they talk about it. Number one, affordability. Two, weather. And number three, the type of lifestyle that you can have, quality of living. And when you think about the Myrtle Beach area, does a pretty darn good job on all three of those things. Now, we've seen prices jump a pretty significant amount over the last few years here, which is great. But at the same time, while prices went up here, prices went up in most parts of the country. So while we may have our average price point go up to $340,000, places like New Jersey went from 400 to 700. So in comparison to parts of the country where probably a lot of you guys are watching from tonight, yes, your value of your home there went up greatly. You'll be able to use that extra equity in order to make the move here. So the affordability part is where we're going to spend most of our time tonight, I'm sure. But let's talk just a couple minutes about the weather in this area. So as I just showed you, Memorial Day weekend here, it was hot. It was beautiful weather. We have a hot summer. There's no other way to put it. Summer's here, they're hot. They're humid. You go outside for 10 minutes, you're more than likely going to want to take a shower just because it's going to be pretty miserable. But you don't have to go out that much unless you really just want to be a glutton for punishment in the humidity. Air conditioners work phenomenal here in the houses. These houses are designed. If you look at a lot of your floor plans and styles of homes that are being built in our area, a lot of them are going to have high ceilings or cathedral ceilings or vaulted ceilings, where they raise up, maybe to 12, 14 feet. The one home that I own, it has vaulted ceilings in it, and it goes up to basically almost 14 feet at the height of the ceiling at one point. Why is that? Heat rises, right? So the heat goes up there, makes some of that heat that would be down lower in an 8 foot, 9 foot ceiling rise up, get out of the room. Ceiling fans become extremely important down here. Ours run all the time in the house. We run every night when we go to bed. We run the one in the living room area fairly often when we're in the living space downstairs with the family, hanging out. And when you do those things, it makes the house fairly affordable to live utility wise. And it just makes everything pretty simple and easy to live. So, why are people coming here? We have excellent weather. We have a fantastic quality of life, living style here. You got to think, what are the things we have here? We have the beach. We have shopping. We have golf. We have things to do. There's so many things. There's nightly entertainment shows you can go to. There's, different complexes to just go walk around. So many things to do. And so a lot of people are considering the Myrtle Beach area. And that's why probably a lot of you are watching tonight's video is you're thinking about it. Now, while we're talking about some of this other stuff, if you have questions about anything regarding retiring here or just moving here, maybe you're not to the age of someone who's looking to retire. I was speaking with a client earlier today, and they're in their mid 20s right now, and they're thinking about making the move to the beach. And, I told them, so, well, I'm going to be going live tonight, and we're going to be talking about, retiring. And they're like, well, that doesn't really apply to me. But if you're someone like that and you're watching, you have questions about other stuff, just ask. We'll talk about it all. I love to go down rabbit holes. It makes it more fun. But let's go back here, check out some comments. I've seen a whole bunch of other stuff come in. Let's see here. So T Waters just sent one. Hey, Jeremy, just got down here in Surfside from Ellicott City, Maryland. Just beautiful down here. Regards, Trent. Hey, Trent, thanks for joining in. Yeah, Surfside's a great spot. Glad you're having fun. If you have questions while you're here, feel free to reach out to me when you're ready to buy that house. You know how to get me. Let's see what else here. We have Footprints in the Pines. They live up in Little River. Awesome. What section of Little River? Do you live in some of the big communities that are up there? Maybe you live in one of those. Or do you live in one of the condos or something like that? I'd love to hear more about that. Trent says, loves Cherry Grove. Yeah, it's a great spot. And Mr. Mr. Lou Gehrig. Hella. It took me a minute. Mr. Lou Gehrig 04, baseball fan. Like it. I got it. Is parking at the beaches free if you are a resident? Good question. Yes and no. If you are someone who lives inside the city limits of Myrtle Beach, you can get a parking decal pass to put on your vehicle, and it is free to you. I have a Myrtle Beach address, but I do not live inside the city limits. So for me and my family, if we go to the beach, no, we have to pay. It's like $1.50 to $2.50 an hour. It's not that bad. You got to think when you're going to the beach down here and you live here, you're not going for 10 hours at a time. You're going for an hour or two, and then you got to go. You got to pack up, go home, cook dinner, clean the house, cut the grass, run the errands, do all that stuff. And so, our bill when we go down to the beach is maybe $4 to $5 at a time. It's not that bad. Good question. If you guys have any other ones, keep asking them. We'll keep talking about them for sure. But one of the things that I get, and since tonight's kind of topic and idea is all kind of revolving around retiring to the Myrtle Beach area, I think it's kind of important first that we discuss the first type of property that most people, when they reach out to me and are thinking of retiring here, that they think they want to have. And that, my friends, is a home that is located in a 55 and older community. And we'll make this a little bit larger for you all to see so you can kind of read the stuff as we're going over it. So right now, as of today, if I go back here, I'll just go back. So all I have in my criteria is active homes. So we're going to just take this 55 and out. So there's right now 3,321 homes currently for sale in our MLS. But if I come down here and add in the big feature that most people want to talk about, if they're retiring here, they want the 55 plus community, right? So when we go and we pull this up, here's what we get. We've gone from well over 3,000 to 73 homes. And so they range in price from 59,000, which is at the campground, to a whopping $2.1 million. So there's a huge range of properties. But if we go back here and we kind of look at some of these properties, one of the things you will notice is that some of these homes are not really homes where you own the land, okay? So the number one thing that I hear most of the time when people are thinking about moving to the area is that they want to move here, Jeremy, because I don't know anybody. And so at least if I'm in a 55 and older community, there'll be things to do and there'll be people my same age and I'll have all of that to do, right? Well, some of these developments, like this first one here, and we'll just click on this so you can see this is in a campground. So this is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath property on manufactured home on leased land. Now this home sits in a campground right by the ocean. Over here is your map that kind of shows it. And so you can see you're pretty close to the ocean over here if you look at that, right? So what does that mean? That means that your expenses for insurance and things is going to be extremely high. But in addition, this home where you have no land, you're going to then pay a monthly lot rent to do this, right? And I don't know if, let's see if they tell us here. It's a 55 and older with a land lease that can be paid in 4 different ways of $5,435 per year, or 29.73 semi-annually, or 15.99 quarterly, or 665 monthly. So you're buying this property for 60,000, and then you're paying, what was it, $665 a month for the lot rent. And the thing I have to say is this: that's what it is today, right? That doesn't mean that in a few months that doesn't change and go up a whole bunch more. So when it comes first off to 55 and older communities in Myrtle Beach as a whole, as you saw a couple minutes ago, while there's a good amount of inventory available, there's a very small amount that fits in that 55 and older community. So if we go back here and we look, those are some at KOA Campground. Then we have next some of these at Inlet Village. Same type of thing, manufactured with leased land. So you're going to be paying rent every month for it. Then there's one here on Ginny, which is also on leased land. So as you can see, there's a bunch of them. So we're going to go back here. And well, before I do that, let me just jump in. This is one that I hear a lot, and I get this question a lot, is Lakeside Crossing, okay? These homes, people reach out to me all the time. Jeremy, it's a great home. It's 199,000, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's 1,700 square feet. And there's all this great stuff. But what you have to look at in here, it says, oh, there's not an HOA, right? It's a leased land, okay? So while there's not a homeowners association, you have to pay lot rent every single month. And I don't know if they'll even tell us in here. No, this one doesn't. Let me try another one quick. I don't want to spend too much time in here. But this lot rent is very, very expensive. It can, I think it's like, I don't even want to guess what the number is these days, but it's extremely expensive, okay? So there's a ton of 55 and older manufactured homes, but they have a leased land. So if we go back in here to our search, and we're going to now add in one more layer to get rid of those manufactured with leased land, and we're going to say we just want detached properties, okay? So we take that number of 73 down to 41. So these are the 41 properties that if you were saying, I want to move into a 55 and older community, these would be the neighborhoods we would be looking at, okay? And so we're just going to sort it so that we can do this kind of quick. So the first one, this is in Tuscany, which is located off of 501. This is a great neighborhood. It was built by D.R. Horton, and inside the center of it, there's a small little section. It's a couple streets called, they call it Carillion, I think it is, but I don't know if that's the right name. I think it's actually called something different. But there's a small section where there are some single family homes. This one was 415,000. There's a lot of great amenities in this community that you get access to as well. Here's some pictures just so you can see. There's the pool. There's, walk-in like beach style. There's a lazy river that's in here. There's a lot of great things in this community. So Tuscany is one option. You then have Del Webb. And Del Webb is one of these places that I get a lot of questions about. And there's two sections of Del Webb. There's the North Myrtle Beach section, which is up in North Myrtle, obviously. And then there is the Grand Dunes section. So right now in the North Myrtle Beach section, here's what one looks like. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath home listed for $539. It's under construction. You're about 1,600 square feet in here. You're going to have a lot of great amenities to access, but they don't show any pictures, so I can't show you those. Sorry. Let's check another one down here. This is at the Grand Dunes section, where you're going to get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home for $621. And what's nice about the Grand Dunes section is that in addition to all the amenities of Del Webb, which here's the clubhouse photo, and then here's the pool, here's the indoor pool where you can swim laps. There's also the fitness center, and then like a seating area covered outside inside the clubhouse. A nice big area. But then you also get access to this, which is the Dunes Club Oceanfront Resort, where it's a giant pool. Downstairs here, there is a bar right in this area. Then upstairs, there is a full-size restaurant as well. But those homes are going to be in the 600s. Okay. Some other developments. The other big one when it comes to uh, 55 and older is going to be Myrtle Trace. And these are going to be some of the homes in here. Let's just pull one up so you can kind of see one. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. Most of these properties were built back in the early uh, 90s to mid 80s. This one, for example, was built in 1991. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, about 2,100 heated square feet, it says. I don't know if that number is right because it also says that there's no uh, under roof, which you can see right there's a 2-car garage, unless they converted the garage into a room. But this is a typical home in Myrtle Trace. It's listed for sale. In here, this one's listed for 312. Now, what's interesting in this development is that part of your monthly homeowner's fee it includes cutting some of your yard, but not all of it. So, what you will find a lot of times, I'm just looking to see if there's a picture that shows the outside of this one. Well, here it is. So, you can see a lot of times the backyard is kind of just left natural because the HOA is not going to come and cut it. So, people just do the front and let the back kind of go to natural. But this is Myrtle Trace. Okay. Some other options then there's Seasons down at Prince Creek, which has a couple other homes. They're in the 400 to 600 range. Let's just look at this $600,000 one. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath home, and it's 2,345 heated square feet. Was built in 2006. And so in here, you've got another 55 and older. It is gated. It's part of the Prince Creek section of the beach. So here's what the house looks like inside. And then here you can kind of see some of the aerial shots, which will also show you there's the community pool and clubhouse area. And there's some pretty nice amenities in here. There's your, tennis courts and pickleball courts and bocce ball and shuffleboard. I think that's what they call that, a shuffleboard there. Um, Looks like they have horse. What do they call those? The horse ring things. Got all that kind of stuff there in there. So as you can see, though, when it comes to 55 and older communities, there's not a ton of them here in our area. And a lot of them either are going to have extremely high homeowners fee to cover the cutting of grass and taking care of the yard maintenance and all that, or you're going to be responsible with them and taking care of all those things moving forward. So at the end of the day, your options for a 55 and older community to retire and live in becomes fairly minimal. Now, I'm going to take a minute before I go into this next part. I just want to check out some comments. I see a bunch of stuff coming in here. So let's take a look here and see what's going on. Let's go back up here. First, we had this comment that came in. We live in Golf Colony Resort across from the Cloud Hospital. Great little spot. I know exactly where you're at. I've sold several of those over the years. I've sold in Golf Colony. I've also sold in Bridgewater next door to it, which used to be the golf course. Let's see here. Salt and Pepper says, we purchased a second home in North Myrtle Beach last year and we love it. That's awesome. Hope you're getting to come down and use it fairly often. Big Mike wants to know, is there livable homes available for under 200 in the area? There are not necessarily single family under 200K anymore. Close to the beach, you can find a few here and there, but you're going to be a good 45 minutes plus out from the ocean. There are still some condos and all that you could find. I'm actually closing on one tomorrow at 193. That is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath townhouse with a nice large screen porch on the back of it. Right in Carolina Forest area. So there are some townhouses and condos under 200 where you can be, 10, 15 minutes from the ocean. But as for single family homes, not a whole lot of them left anymore. More than likely, you're going to need to spend about 250 to 300 these days. Let's see here. Brenda says, we will be moving within the next several months, building our retirement house in Conway. Just wondering if we should add a pool. What type of pool would you recommend? Good question. So, if you're going to do the pool, then you have the liability. So you got to make sure you have the fence and the additional insurance and all that stuff with it. I would recommend if you're putting a pool in, to put one in ground. Don't do the above ground. The above ground will not add value to your home. In ground will. It's going to cost significantly more. As for the type of in ground, that's probably more budget question with what you want to do and what you're comfortable spending. Um, yeah, I mean, it would be great. I can tell you when it comes to reselling the home, it will definitely make your home sell quicker because there are not a lot of properties for sale with a pool. Just there isn't. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see here. Jeff says we are selling a vacation home in Florida. Can we use the proceeds to purchase a primary home in Myrtle Beach? Sure, you can. Now, you can't do a 1031 tax free exchange with it necessarily, because from what I understand, and don't quote me on this, check with your accountant, check with your attorney. Um, but in order to use like 1031 tax free, it has to be like kind of property and it has to be kept that way for, I want to say 2 years, something like that. I'm not exact. I don't remember off the top of my head. But you can definitely use the proceeds and do that. You might have to pay a little bit of taxes on the gains first. But that once again comes down to an accountant question. Ask them because more than likely there's a good amount of expenses that can be written off to make it that your gains will be fairly minimal at the end of the day. Let's see here. Oh, Mikey's coming. Hey, Mike, what's up? He says, for your information, Grand Dunes Del Webb will be sold out by the end of the year. Yes, it's getting close. They're almost done in there. So what Mike's saying is if you want to be his neighbor, hurry up and call Jeremy so that we can get you one of those homes before they're all sold. Or you can buy one of the resales. But there are some pretty good incentives that these builders are offering right now on spec homes and also on build sites that they have left. But in there for specifically, there are not that many home sites left. Let's see here. I should add under 200, no lot rent and no HOA. The no HOA thing's going to get tough too, Mike, because most of the area has some sort of a homeowners association. It might be minimal, but if you want to get a home that's not, you can. You just have to go further out from the beach and not into a subdivision, but just areas where there's random lots for sale. We can find them though if you want to. All right, let's see here. Wolfman says, hi, Jeremy. We've decided on the farm, looking to buy as soon as we sell our Phoenix home. We will schedule a call with you in the next couple weeks. Love your insight. Awesome. I can definitely tell you about the farm. I know an awful lot about it since it's where I live. I actually own multiple properties in that development. So unless you're talking about the farm at Timberlake, which is down the southern end, and if so, that's fine. We can do that as well. But I'm assuming you're talking about the farm at Carolina Forest. It's a great, great neighborhood. And so, yeah, I look forward to talking to you soon, Wolfman. I don't know if it's Mr. Wolfman or Mrs. Wolfman, but I look forward to talking to you soon. Anyway, so let's jump back here a minute to what I was talking about. And we're going to go back here to there and let's hide Wolfman again. All right. And guys, as we're talking, keep the comments coming, keep the questions coming. I'm loving the interaction. It makes this much more entertaining for me and for everyone else if you ask me your questions along the way. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to go back here a minute. And so as I was sharing a few minutes ago, 55 and older. Oh, that's where I was going. My brain just reminded me where we were. So we're getting back there. We're coming back, I promise. All right, so we were talking about 55 and older. The big question and the big reason why most people say I want the 55 and older is, Jeremy, I'm moving, like Wolfman just said, we're moving from Phoenix, Arizona. You know, it's 1,000 plus miles away. We don't really know anybody. And so at least if we're in a 55 and older community, we're going to be surrounded by people of like age, which will have the same kind of mentality, like interests, all that kind of stuff, right? That's the big reason why a lot of people say they want to move here. Well, here's the thing. In order to purchase in a 55 and older community, you have to do what? You have to at least have one of the occupants, one of the owners, be at least 55 years or older. Now, if you're someone who is a gentleman, let's say in your mid 60s, and your wife tragically died and you inherited a bunch of money because it was a tragic accident. And so you got a large settlement and it was all over the news. There is a possibility that someone significantly younger in age says, "Hey, I want a sugar daddy." So they move in with you. They're in their 20s. They have some smaller children. Well, you're over the age of 55. You've met the requirement, so you can buy that house. Her and her children get to come with you. Or the situation that's probably a little bit more likely is this one. You are a couple that's over the age of 55. You purchase that home and you have a son that's in their mid 30s that just went through a terrible divorce and they needed a place to live. So they move in with you. And when they move in, their children come to visit for months on end because they have joint custody and they get to spend time there. Well, during those times, they're going to be in the house, and there's nothing the homeowners association can do to prohibit them from being at the home. So instead of you just being around people of your age, you're going to still have the mixture of people. So that kind of gets thrown out the window right away, right? Well, here's the other part to this story. And I know I say this to people all the time, like, I know it's crazy for me to talk to you about selling your home when you haven't even purchased it yet, but it's important to kind of know what the future is going to hold. At some point along the way, if you're a couple, one of you is going to pass away before the other. Or if you both tragically are killed in a wreck or something, your children are going to have to take care of this. But someone at some point is going to need to sell the property. Okay. And if the pool of people that are out there to purchase from, I'm using a lot of P's, sorry. If the group of people that's out there to purchase your home, which is, millions of people, gets restricted down to just those over 55 and older. And not only those that are over 55 and older, but those that also want to be in that 55 and older community, you then have this very, very small group of people that are actually looking to purchase your home. So when it comes time to resale, it can make it much more difficult. Because it makes it more difficult, I don't think that those homes are going to appreciate in value at the same rate. So is it always the best financial decision? Maybe, maybe not. Now, if you're someone like Mike who's watching, you say, "Hey, I want the amenities. I want all of that stuff. I don't care about the 55 and older because to me, amenities and location is everything." Then Grand Dunes, Del Webb, perfect spot to go. But for a lot of people that are on this call, you probably are saying, "You know what? I can't do the 600 to $800,000 budget. I don't want to put all of my savings into that. Instead, I'd rather have a house in the fours to fives," right? So let's just take a minute and kind of talk about that and how does that work? So the development I live in, we mentioned it a few minutes ago, is the farm, right? In my development, where my old house sits, it's my investment property now. When we first moved in there, we explained to our children that, hey, we're moving to a new development. You're going to have the ability to make friends quick, easy. And literally, the day we moved in, the neighbor two doors down, their son came down, knocked on the door as the moving truck was unloading, and said, "Hi, my name's Ethan. Do you want to come play?" And so my son looked at my wife and I was like, can I go, Dad? I was like, "Sure, go." And not even 30 seconds later, he says, comes back again with his sister and says, "My sister Reese wants to play too." And so my younger daughter, she went off as well. And so within 15 minutes, basically, of us being in our new home, my two younger children had made friends and were off playing, having a good time. Now, the people who lived next door to us, it was a retired couple from the Philadelphia area. And so the two of us, Lenny, his name's Lenny, we always have a good time. We get outside, we would talk about the Eagles and the Phillies and have a good time talking about it. The gentleman who lived behind us, his name was Tom. and he was a widow who had moved down with his teenage daughter, had three little dogs, BLT, Biggie, Little, and Tiny. And they were all these little small dogs, but they were actually pretty funny. He called them BLT, and they'd go for walks with him. But they lived behind us. Across the street was a retired couple from Michigan. And then the people who lived next door to them had a child who was the same age as my oldest daughter. So we had a great mixture of neighbors all around us where we lived. So it was really simple and easy for us to connect and make those relationships, and it was a good diversity of ages all around us. And that's what you're going to find in most of the subdivisions throughout the area. So when people say the concern is, well, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make friends or meet anyone, trust me when I say, as us being one of the number one spots that people are moving to regularly, finding people of the like age, same age range is not going to be a super difficult thing to have happen, no matter whether you're in the 55 and older community or not. Okay. Hope that makes sense. All right, let's go back here and look at some questions. Let's see here. Tim says all homes in zip code 29577 and Oceanside Intracoastal Waterway in the city of Myrtle Beach. Um, yes, there's a good amount, a good amount of them that are over that way. I'm not sure what you're wanting me to ask, what you're asking on that one, Tim. Maybe give me a little more detail, and we'll go from there. Let's see here. Next, Ann's in and says, "Hi, Jeremy, joining from Rhode Island. I would love to relocate in June 2025, looking at all options within 40 minutes of the coast." So there are definitely a good amount of those, Ann. Depending on what budget you want to stay within, we can find stuff. If we go over here to our map, and let's bring the map back up here a minute. Here we go. We're going to hide your question, Ann, so that we can go into this. So if we look at the map here a minute, basically, if you say you want to stay within 40 minutes of the coast, let's move the map in here and zoom it out. You basically could go anywhere all the way up here into Longs, almost to Loris. You could cover all of this almost out here to Aner, and all of Conway would give you all of that. And then if we just kind of bring this down through here again into Murrells Inlet, and even if I zoom down here, we could go all the way down into Pawleys Island and all the way through and down even into Georgetown and still be within 40 minutes of a beach. Depending on what your budget you want to stay in is obviously going to dictate some of those areas. If you say, hey, I'm looking to spend 400 to 500, all of that area basically is still wide open as an option. If you say, I don't really want to go over 350 or over 300, then you're more than likely going to be west of Highway 31 for the most part. If I go down through here, you can find stuff definitely out in this area, still in that 3 to 350 range, and all the way down through here as well. Okay. All right. Sorry. I was reading Tim's question. Please reread the question. All right. Let me go back here a minute. Oops. Click the wrong one. Are all homes in zip code 29577 and Oceanside Intracoastal Waterway in the city of Myrtle Beach? Good question. I got it now, what you're saying. And so let's pull up the map here. Let's see. Myrtle Beach. I can't spell tonight. If we go here and then we go to there. Oops. Not that. I wanted to click on this one. Here we go. This one kind of shows it to you best. So this is kind of the city limits of Myrtle Beach. All the areas that are in yellow are the city limits. So you are correct. For the most part, it's east of the waterway. Goes all the way up here into the Dunes area and up through here in Grand Dunes. Goes all the way down here south of the airport to basically cover most of Market Common area. And basically it's here's 17 bypass running right through here. And so you can kind of see it's all pretty much east of there, but there are a couple segments that are on the west of it. And of course, to collect the higher end taxes, they included in the Grand Dunes section of the beach. Okay. Hope that answers your question now, Tim. I missed the first part of it. I misread it along the way um, with it. So, what other questions do you guys have tonight as we continue talking on here? Let's turn that question off so it's not across my head. What other questions does everyone have as we're talking tonight? I can see I've got about 25 to 30 people on the stream right now. And so I'm sure you guys have some questions about different areas, different price points, maybe. Um, what are things you want to know about retiring here in the Myrtle Beach area? One of the things that I will talk about a minute while you're typing out those questions, and it's one of the big reasons that people want to know, one of the big reasons people want to move here is what are the property taxes like in Horry County, and how does it rank? How does South Carolina as a whole? How does South Carolina rank when it comes to taxes on properties? That's one of the questions I get asked regularly, and there is kind of two parts to property taxes. You have those that are buying them as a primary residence, and those that buy it as a second home. So earlier in our conversation, someone mentioned that they just recently bought a second home down here. Yeah, here it was back. Salt and Pepper had mentioned that they bought a second home in North Myrtle Beach and they love it. So Salt and Pepper bought that second home down here, and their property taxes on it might be, let's say, $4,000 a year for that property because it's bought as a second home. So it's considered an investment property. So it's taxed at a higher rate than if it was their primary residence. If in time they move here and turn that property into their primary residence, and let's just say it's $3,000 a year, they would drop down to $1,000 a year. Okay. Then after they've owned the property, let's say just for purposes here, they're over the age of 65. And after they've now lived in that property for one full calendar year after being a primary. So if they move down next month, turns into a primary this year, it would be January of 2026. They could apply for a homestead exemption, which then gives you an additional $50,000 off the assessed value of the property, which will reduce down the property taxes another couple $100. So they would go from $3,000 to $1,000 to probably $600 to $800 a year for that property. In comparison, I know we have some people that are probably joining in here tonight from New York, New Jersey areas. You might want to, I would love for you guys, if you're brave enough, for those of you joining in from the Northeast, just put in the comments what your taxes are for your property right now. Just share them. I know it's a painful thing, but go ahead. It's all right. We'll all take care of you. Let's see here. Some other questions have come in. Mr. Liu asked, are there any new developments scheduled in the next couple of years? We are planning on a 2026 move. There are some that will still be being built during that time. I don't know any off the top of my head that have been announced yet for that far out. I do know, for example, one of the ones that I'm pretty certain will still be going is called Auberon Woods. It's off of Highway 90. It's being built by D.R. Horton. They're going to put 1,300 homes in there till it's said and done. And they're just now probably 75 homes into it. So I think they'll be going in there for at least probably another 3-4 years. But as you get closer to the move time, let me know, and we can definitely start to explore it. If I were to pull up my map here a minute and show you the map, let's bring this up a minute here and hide your comment. If I were to be guessing and betting, man, my guess would be is that this little corridor right here, which is International Drive, will have a good amount of developments pop up over here in the next 3 or 4 years for sure. All right, let's see here. Tim wants to know, are there multiple choices on services like cable, power, water, gas? Good question. So some of the things, yes, some of them, no, but not necessarily in your subdivision. So Let's first talk about electric. It's either going to be Santee Cooper or it's going to be Ori Electric Co-op, who buys their power from Santee Cooper and just puts a small surcharge on it. You have no say on which one you get to have. It's whatever was decided when the development was first contracted out. As for cable, some developments will, and internet and those things, some developments you can pick either Spectrum, which used to be Time Warner, or the local company Ori Telephone Co-op. Um, both are good options. But like in my development, ours is through our HOA, so it's Spectrum, and we have no choice. Water, most everything in our area, unless you live inside the city limits, is going to be Grand Strand Water and Sewer. Myrtle Beach has their own, Conway has their own trash services. If you live in a neighborhood with an HOA, you have no choice. It's through the HOA. But most of the stuff you have basically one. Gas is going to be pretty much Dominion gas in our area. They pretty much have everything on that. Good question. The next question came in from Josh. If you're able to answer this, what are the safest areas of Myrtle Beach to retire in? I can't answer that one, unfortunately. Fair housing laws prohibit me from talking about crime, safety, all that kind of stuff. As I've said in the past, like any city in the world that you live, there's areas that have crime, there are areas that don't. There's, probably the city where you live now, there's a street or two that you just go, I don't want to travel down that street at night. Unfortunately, I can't answer that question. Let's see here. Jason wants to know chances of finding raw land around Pawleys Island, $100,000 budget. Good question, Jason. Let's go to the MLS and we will search. I will tell you right now. So we're going to go in here. We're going to put land. We're going to say active land, and we're going to put in here a max budget of 100,000. And you had said the Pawleys Island area, so let's put in Pawleys. If I can spell today. Pawleys. There we go. And so it's counting. It's thinking. All right, Jason, you got 2 pieces of land. Which one would you like to buy? So that one's not in properly because it says it's $27 for that piece of land. It's a commercial lot lease, so that's not even an actual one. But here is a piece of land down in Pawleys Island. It says it's 36,900. I'm not sure what's going on with the MLS number because that's not right. This has been on the market since 2015. Okay. So something tells me this is not correct. It was updated though in April. It's a 2-acre parcel of land, 2 easement areas known as Jason Drive and Streeter Lane. It's not a buildable parcel. So unfortunately, you can't build on this piece. So yes, there's 2 acres of land, but you can't do much with it. Hence why it's probably still for sale. So I'm not exactly sure why they're selling something that's not buildable. Now, if we go, maybe we'll change this just to see. Change it from 100 to 150. See if there's anything that pops up then. So there's 2 more that pop in at 100 to 150. And here's what you get then. You get this piece of land, which is on 55 Renty Tucker Court. That's listed for 121,000. And it's basically looks like to be a little bit more than a third of an acre, maybe. Yeah, 0.4 acres. And it says that this lot is in Hagley Estates, is located on a cul-de-sac at the end. Therefore, hardly almost any no traffic backs up to wetlands for 325 feet of privacy and nature view. It's cleared, filled with dirt, retainer wall built, water and sewer taps paid, water meter installed, ready to build, but there is limited area to build. See the survey. So we have to come up here then, see the survey, which they don't even have. Oh, here it is. You can't really tell from that 'cause it's not a good quality photo. So there's that one, and then there's one more here. Let's see. This one's 130,000, and excellently conveniently located to all Pawleys Island has to offer. It's 1 acre, zone general residential, highest density allowed in county. Present zoning allows for multifamily developed. Yeah, so there's an easement access for a proposed road. So there's a couple options in the area, but not a whole lot in the Pawleys Island area. Hope that answers your question. All right, let's see here. What else do we have? Anne's from watching in from Rhode Island. Her property taxes are $6,000 a year plus $750 fire tax. Whew, wow. All right, Surfside Gunny, what's happening? Is there an advantage to working with a real estate agent and the builder? Yes, yes, and yes. So, yes, even if you're buying a house and you're having it built, you want an agent on your side. Why do you want somebody to help you? They, number one, understand how things work in this area. They're familiar with the processes of, the orientations, the walkthroughs, all of that good stuff. And if you're building a home from scratch with a custom build, it's not quite as much. But in working with a spec builder, you definitely want someone on your side because those on site builders and on site agents, they represent the seller. They don't work on your side. They're very nice. They're very happy to work with you. They're friendly people. I have many good friends that work in that industry. But at the end of the day, if the builder says, no, we're not doing it, then they're going to simply say to you, sorry, it's not happening. And that's where having someone like me on your side, if it's something that should be taken care of and should be fixed, can step in and say, hey, this needs to be corrected. This needs to be done. This needs to happen. This is not right. This needs to be fixed and get those things put in the right direction for you. Let me share a couple examples. So, had a home that someone bought, it's been a couple years ago now, in a very nice gated community. Price was around $500,000. And the builder said, oh, yeah, the house is clean. This is as good as it gets. And I went, whoever cleaned this house missed cleaning a lot of it, and it's not done right. I don't know that you had it cleaned yet. And so I started to question it, and he continued to argue. Well, I walked back to the sliding glass door, and it was when this beautiful house had the whole back was a giant sliding glass door that opened in the middle. So they both opened out and made it's like, was it 4 feet, 12-foot long door, right? And so it opened up to have an 8-foot opening in the center. Well, the track for the sliding door was filled with probably about that much dirt. Okay. And when, and not just like dust, I'm talking black dirt from the ground outside. And so when I said to him, it hasn't been, oh, yeah, 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 it has. I said, no, it hasn't. And he was just going to leave it that way. As you walked around the house, it had LVP floors everywhere, and there was so much drywall dust on it that you could see our footprints as we walked around the house. So I kept telling him this house needs to be clean, and he kept arguing. I had to go above him to get someone else to come in and say, yes, the house is going to be cleaned. Now, my people would have just went, okay, and they would have sat there and spent hundreds of dollars paying a cleaning service to come in and cleaning it, or spend hours doing it. Another example, which just happened last year, had a nice couple moving here from Minnesota, and they were buying a home. And the day that their concrete driveway was being poured, there was an afternoon shower that rolled in shortly after it was poured, and it made the concrete a little too wet. So if you looked at the concrete after it all dried, it had these little divots and waves in it everywhere, and it just didn't look right. It didn't look the way concrete should. So I went to the builder, brought this up, and he said, well, let me talk to the concrete guy. So he did. And we went back to do it. And the day I went back for the final walkthrough, I see not only the builders there, the concrete guys there, but I also noticed the regional construction supervisor for this builder in the area. And so I pulled him in as well. And he basically said, whatever needs to be done to fix this driveway and make it look right for these clients, you need to do it. So they had to give the concrete guy a chance to fix it. So he was going to come in and he shaved it down, was going to put this top layer and all this stuff. And 2 weeks later, still not fixed. Well, I happened to stop by the house one day. I was up in the area and I stopped in and my client said, yeah, we still haven't gotten it done and we're not exactly sure. I called the builder right there on site. We spoke. Long story short, took over 30 days, but we got them a completely new driveway. Now, this driveway was one of the longest ones that I have seen in a subdivision in a very, very long time. You could probably park 12 cars in the driveway. It was that long. Okay. So it was extremely expensive. Now, if I had not been involved, the people would have just said when they brought it up, hey, why is the driveway looking fun? I said, oh, it must have been a little wet the day it was poured. And they went, oh, okay, and live with a driveway that looks like garbage. Or they would have gone with what the contractor tried to do of shaving it down and pouring this thin coat of stuff over the top. And I said to him, if you're not 100% happy when that's done, don't accept it, because when you come to pressure wash this concrete in a couple months, it's going to start flaking off and causing problems. So if they didn't have somebody on their side, this would have been an issue. And the third story I'll share with you is about one of the other builders in town that couldn't get single car garage doors in. And so they took a 2-car door, cut it in half, put it on, and told our people you needed to close. And if you didn't close, you were going to lose your earnest money. The contract would be voided and they'd sell the house the next day. So this is why it's really important to have somebody on your side. Most of the time, these builders are paying out the commission fees, and it's not going to cost you anything extra to have somebody on your side. So I would highly recommend have somebody with you that's going to be there, because the builder's going to pay the fee and you're going to have representation. Okay? Getting off my soapbox now. Hope I answered that question. All right. All right, back here, I've got some questions that came in. I love it. Sorry, guys, I got down a little rabbit hole there. Let's see here. Tim says, I've been told by the tax office in Greenville that if you are already on homestead exempt status, you can XFR to Myrtle Beach taxes without a wait of a year. That might be the case. I'm not exactly sure moving from one area to the other. I will tell you, you will have to apply for primary residence here. No questions about it. And also with the primary residence and registering all that stuff, if you're someone who's moving here from out of state, you have to the next year, once you have filed your taxes in the state of South Carolina, go back in and load that into the system, or they may revert you back as a second home. I've seen that happen as well. Jason said, wow. Yeah, I know. Some crazy stories. Let's see here. Gunny, big advantages to working with a buyer, buyer's realtor, especially if you use Jeremy. Thanks, Mike. Let's see here. James says, we moved from North Carolina to Myrtle Beach. Taxes and electricity is so much cheaper in Myrtle Beach. Yeah, it's pretty affordable. My usual average electric bill is under $200 a month. I would say it's extremely affordable. I agree with you there. Outlaw Gaming says, hey, Jeremy, we're looking to buy a house in the next year or two. Would you recommend an older home or a new build? If you were buying today, and this is as of today, I would go the new build route, especially if you're planning to do a loan, because they are giving tremendous incentives. They're buying down interest rates down under 6%. They're giving you $7,000 to $10,000 in closing costs. They're adding on upgrades like screening in the porch, gutters, window blinds, all kinds of good stuff in there. Now, in a year from now, don't know. I still probably will lean towards the new construction, because in addition, you're also going to see warranties come in, which are going to be extremely helpful. Plus, when you're buying new, everything's brand new. As I was talking to a client earlier today about buying new home versus a used home, if you buy the used home, you don't know how much longer you have with that water heater. And I just had this. I'm closing on a home tomorrow for a client. And during the process, after we went under contract and even after the inspection was done, all of a sudden, the neighbor called the owners of the property and said, hey, there's water running out of your back patio from your utility closet where the water heater is. Well, the water heater sprung a leak and started leaking out. They had to call in a plumber, cost them $1,700 to get that water heater removed and a new one put in. If you're buying a home that's brand new, everything's new. It should be able to last several years. And if there is a problem in that first year, especially, there's warranties in place that'll take care of getting it fixed. For your HVAC, some of those builders are giving as much as 5 to 10 year warranties on parts or labor. And so there's a lot of big advantages going the new route. Let's see here. JG says, watching from Minnesota. Welcome in. A little bit warmer here than in Minnesota right these days, I'm sure. But hey, I'm glad you joined us tonight. Gunny says, excellent. Thank you. Glad I could help you. Alyssa asks, does being on a pond lot, water view, increase home value? Yes, it does. As a whole, usually water lots are going to make the home sell for a little bit more, for sure. It could be as much as $10,000 to $20,000 more over a resale. It's not. I will tell you, on some of your new construction properties, it can be a significant expense higher to go new construction. For example, over in Waterbridge, there were some pristine lots that were the premium on the middle. It was like a cul-de-sac that went right into the biggest section of the pond. And I want to say that lot premium was close to $100,000 for it. So it definitely can play into that. Homes that are on water usually are the most expensive. Homes then that back up to wetlands or trees or a preserve that's not going to be disturbed next, and then homes that back up to other homes are the lowest of the three. Let's see here. As Peyton Manning sings nationwide, Jeremy's on your side. Thanks, Tim. Let's see here. This is from Mrs. Govals. Oh, here we go. Mike gave the computer to his wife. All right. We moved from Texas to Myrtle Beach, and we were unable to travel for the walkthrough and for other needs. Jeremy was at the walkthrough for us and did the virtual meeting for us. Yeah, I do that stuff all the time. Thank you, Mrs. Vols. Thanks for joining in. It's been fun working with you guys. Let's see here. JG says, where the best value area to live in? It's all a personal preference question. As I share many times in videos, and I've shared on this in live stream, and I'll share it again now. Myrtle Beach and the whole Grand Strand as a whole has something that'll attract anyone and everyone. It's a matter of finding that section that best fits your wants, your desires, your likes, dislikes. I personally really enjoy living in Carolina Forest because it's kind of centrally located, easy to get around, has a lot of stuff that's nearby. Others that you talk to will say, don't go anywhere near Carolina Forest. In fact, somebody commented, I think it was today, on one of my videos saying, Carolina Forest is a joke. Can't get anywhere there anymore within 30 minutes. I don't know what they're talking about, but I have no problems getting around. Some of my clients, they love Surfside. They're not buying anywhere else. Others, as you've heard, that are on the call tonight, they live in Little River. They live in Cherry Grove. They're in North Myrtle Beach. There's all different sections, and it's kind of like my children. I have 3 kids. They're now 16, soon to be 14 and 10. And if my oldest was sitting here tonight, sitting behind me at this desk, she could sit there with a book in her lap and read it and never bother us once. If my son was here, he would grab the desk chair over here and he'd pull it right here and be sitting right next to me, and he'd be reading stuff and, hey, Dad, comment about that. Or, Dad, tell him about this, or wanting to interject and be part of the story. If my youngest was here, we would be talking about sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns. We'd be having a fun time. We'd be having a great party and have a blast, but probably not get as much accomplished as we want. Myrtle Beach and the Grand Strand has all of those types of personalities and more. And a lot of it depends on which one best fits your personality. Now, as you talk about budget and areas for value, we have to go over here to our map, okay? And as I share and say all the time, we're going to pull the map in here to show all the area. Here we go. As I say, the closer we get to this big blue thing, the higher the prices are going to be. So For example, and we'll just use a typical 3 bedroom, 2 bath home that spec home built in many sections of the beach. Okay. You buy that home and it's over here in the Carolina Forest area, it's probably going to be about 385 to 400. You take that home, whoops, bump the button. Take that home, come up here to Longs and buy it right about here. You're going to be right around 300. You take that same home, you go out here to a little bit farther out in Longs towards Loris, and it goes to 285. You take that same home, go out here to Aner, and it drops down into the 260s. So as you can see, 260, 300, 350, it's all relative to how close you get to the beach and how much the dirt costs to start the home. So there's a lot that's going to be based on what your budget is on that to answer that question. But hopefully that answers it a little bit. All right, let's see here. Anne wants to know, what are average HOA costs for a master plan community with amenity center? Good question, Anne. So depending on the area that you're looking at, I would say most areas that have a community, let's just say a community pool as a minimum and a clubhouse, okay? Most of those are going to be probably about $100 to $150, somewhere in that range, and that will get you access to a community pool, clubhouse of some sort. Usually that also includes your trash pickup as well as maintenance around the ponds and common areas and street lights in the neighborhood. Okay. My development that I'm in, it's $100 a month. I have access to 2 community pools. There is a fitness center, a clubhouse, there's a basketball court, and then weekly trash pickup is included. In addition, and mine's the only neighborhood that I know of at this price, but I also get then basic cable and high-speed internet included in that $100 a month. So I think it's very, very affordable. Across the street from us is the parks, and I want to say theirs is around $110 a month. Let's pull it up here a minute and see. Now that I mentioned that, it makes me wonder. So we'll pull it up. So let's go in here and we're going to clear this out. And let's go back here to sharing this a minute. So we're going to come down here. We're going to put in parks at Carolina Forest. And so this will pull it up and show us the parks at Carolina Forest. Your monthly HOA fee is $100 a month in here. Okay. And that gets you access to the community pool, the fitness center. Here you can see there's a picture of it. It's great looking. Come on. Oh, let me. You guys can see. So here it is. There's a lazy river that's installed. The community pool. There's a clubhouse here. This is a fitness center, and these 2 are bathrooms. This one has a small kitchen in it that you can go in and put stuff in the refrigerator, that kind of stuff. That's all included. And then here are the 10 Oaks, which is actually a national monument that the parks is named after. This is called Huger Park, Huger, named after General Huger from the Revolutionary War. So that's $100 in that development. Another one with some great, let's bring up 2 other ones here for you quick. Waterbridge and Berkshire Forest. These are 2 other great neighborhoods with community center and pool and stuff. And so we'll just click on this home. This one, it should show us in here. Your monthly fees here, it says is $102. And let's see if they have a picture. Nope, they don't. Let's go to another one. See if they show us the pool. Nope. We'll find one, I promise you. Here you go. So you can see here's kind of some of the amenities at Berkshire Forest. So there's a fitness center, the community pool, there's a splash zone, there's a lazy river. In here, there's a playground as well. There's a whole bunch of stuff. And then across the street, there's also a pickleball court and a couple more things that are in there. If we go over here to Waterbridge monthly fees are $150 a month, and that's a new build, so that's not going to show you. So let's go down here and grab one of these. They should have some more pictures of the amenity center. So here you go. Here you can see this is the amenity center at Waterbridge. It is huge. It's massive. In the front part down here, this is where there is the clubhouse. This is the fitness center. These are rooms back here that you can rent if you want to have private parties. There's also then tennis slash pickleball courts. There's a boat dock where you can jump in. This is gated. There's your tennis and pickleball courts. A lot of great amenities in there. Tim says, "Go Vols." I got two Vol fans on here. That's awesome. All right, Jeremy, question. When it comes to Carolina Forest, as that is the area we're looking at, been rumors of them making it its own township for, say, to where they have their own taxes, etc. Do you see this happening? Good question. Oh, I got to move your question. I'm hiding. I can hide under the question. All right, let's move it. Good question. I have a feeling that in time it will become its own city. It'll have its own, police department, courthouse, all that kind of stuff. Kind of like how Conway is, or Myrtle Beach, or North Myrtle Beach. It would not surprise me. Right now, it's considered the county, and so it's not really any type of city area. But it would not surprise me to see 29579 become its own. We would have to have some more emergency stuff come into the area first in order for that to happen, for sure. Good questions tonight, guys. I'm loving it. And let's see here. Tim says, is there a way to view HOA policies without being a real estate agent? Ooh, good question. Depending on the neighborhood you want, not really, no. I would say no, you can't. However, me as an agent, yes, I can pull them up for people pretty quickly. If I go through here and just look, a lot of times we can find them. Like here's one that'll show you. Here, you want to know the pool rules for Waterbridge? Here's all the rules on the pool. You want to know about covenants and restrictions? Here they are. I can access these as well. Some of this stuff you might be able to go down to the courthouse and find because it should be public record. You can see this one's been recorded down the Register of Deeds. Just trying to find it could be. Oh, I'm sitting here talking like you guys can see what I'm showing you. Sorry, let me go back here a minute. So here is the covenants and restrictions for Waterbridge, and you can see it says right here that it was recorded at the Register of Deeds, and here's the page of it and all that stuff where it was to get it. Or I have access then, like here's the pool regulations, here's the rules and regs for the development. And so this one I can see all that kind of stuff as well. And some of these get rather inclusive. When I'm working with someone who's looking to buy, that's definitely something we want to ask for so that you know what you can and can't do. For example, some developments like Waterbridge, I think in specific, would not allow you to have a shed in the backyard, possibly. But they will allow you to have a community pool, your own private pool in the backyard. Whereas my development says no shed, no pool. It just depends. And each neighborhood becomes its own unique circumstances with it. So, what other questions does everyone have tonight? I'm sure you guys have it. While you're thinking about it, one of the things that I want to show you that's going to be coming here in the very, very near future, I will be announcing it, and I'm excited to share this with you. And I debated whether to do this or not, but I figured why not? But one of the things, and I'll just show you a little bit of this for a minute. I have a brand new YouTube channel that will be launching here before long, and it's going to be just tours of neighborhoods. So take a minute and just watch some of this, and you watch this while you guys are typing in your questions. All right. So I won't bore y'all by making you watch it all, but wanted to just kind of give you whet your appetite a little bit, I guess you could say. I'm launching here, hopefully in the next month, a complete neighborhood tours channel. We're going to just be doing tours of neighborhoods, showing aerial shots like you saw here. In addition, we're going to do some just drive through of neighborhoods where I will just basically, after it's been shot, go back through and do a voiceover kind of sharing where we're at in the neighborhood, what streets we're on, because people want to know, what are these neighborhoods like. And if you're in Phoenix, Arizona right now, it's pretty tough to know what Berkshire Forest looks like. But by watching a video like this and then being able to also watch a full driving tour, which, the driving tour on this one's about 20 plus minutes in length. But I go through a lot of the development and show you the different streets, showing you what the type of houses are being built. What's the landscape look like? What does the neighborhood look like? What does the amenities look like? It's going to be a great thing, I think, for a lot of people. I'm excited to get it going. We're in the process right now. We have 3 developments that we're working on at the moment. And hopefully this next week we'll be able to, as long as weather permits, over the next few weeks, get a couple more shot. And then we will launch this out here in the very, very near future. All right, let's go back to some questions here. And let's see here. All right, here we go. So Ann wants to know, are there opportunities for RNs in behavioral health and police officers in Myrtle Beach and surrounding areas to your knowledge? Yes, there definitely is. They are always looking for people to join the police force in the area. There's definitely jobs for that. There are definitely behavioral health nurses, anybody in the medical field, RNs. There are definitely needs in the area. As our area continues to grow at such a rapid pace, these areas are wanting to expand and grow the medical facilities. And so with that, there's definitely opportunities here. Now, I will tell you, the pay rate here is going to be much less than probably what you're used to, but it's okay because your cost of living here is also going to be significantly less. Okay. Let's see here. Mary wants to know, why is his higher in a mobile home park than in a stick-built community? I think you're wanting to know about insurance. Why is insurance more? Probably because it's not built on a concrete foundation. It's on something that can be moved fairly easy, so therefore it's not as structurally sound. The wind can get underneath it and lift it up. It's not bolted down to anything. So because of that, it does make insurance significantly more. So while manufactured homes are lower in price, your insurance can easily be 3 to 4 times more at times than what it would be for a stick-built home. Hopefully that answers your question. Mary wants to know HOA. Oh, why is the okay. Why is the HOA higher? If it's a neighborhood that, as we were talking about earlier in the stream tonight, if it's an area where it's leased land, you're paying lot rent in that fee each month, and it's ridiculously expensive. TK said, nice video. Yeah, my videographer did an awesome job with it. I'm really excited to get those off the ground and get those launched out here. It has some beautiful, beautiful visuals, which we're taking some of those visuals. We're going to start putting them into the stuff on this channel too. I'm really excited to see the future. Moving from Cat, looking into Garden City Surfside. Are there any reasonable new communities around 350? Oh, I think Steve's saying California is what he meant. I don't know where Cat is, so I'm guessing that's supposed to be Cal. In the Garden City Surfside area, finding stuff in the 350 that's new build, it's not as easy. If we go back and look at our map a minute. In addition to, here we go. And let's hide the question here. In addition to this area being more expensive, the other part to it as well is that stuff along the beach, for the most part, has already been developed. So the areas that have not been developed are going to be further out here to the west. So Carolina Forest area, for example, that's getting all but finished up. Most of the stuff here that's going to be east of 17 is already completed. Most everything that's in between 17 and 17 is also getting close to being done. There are a few small pockets along the way, but then we're pretty much now into this section between 17 and 31 that's getting pretty well filled out. And so you also then have some stuff maybe over here off of 707 that would be an option as well for you. So hopefully that answers your question. Hey, Jeremy, Surfside Beach here. Awesome, Herb. Glad you joined in tonight. Let's see here. Steve says, moving from Connecticut and looking to Garden City. Are there? Oh, I just answered that one. Oh, it came in twice. Awesome. Josh wants to know, where are the best golf courses in the Myrtle Beach area? Golfing. Oh, something I enjoy doing, but I never get to do it anymore. Maybe one of these days, if you ever come down, we'll go golfing or something. I don't know. But one of the good spots, I actually won in a miniature golf tournament, are some passes to True Blue down in the southern end of the beach. I have played, usually when I play, I don't play the best ones because they're the most expensive. I'm not that good. For me, one of my favorite places to play is I enjoy playing Arrowhead course. I also enjoy Burning Ridge, which is out towards Conway, because it's used to be really, really affordable for locals. And I'm not very good at it, so I don't get to play as much because I'm working. So I don't get really any better at it. So I like to play the more affordable, and I like ones that are very wide. One of the most beautiful ones that I've ever played, which was a lot of fun, was World Tour right here in the Carolina Forest area as well. All right. Mary said HOA, which I got that already. Cool. GTI, looking forward to the neighborhood videos. Will you include in the videos the shopping, dining options around the neighborhood? I will talk about it. I won't necessarily get into the list so much because it's constantly changing. But there are a lot of great, places around that are going to be usually to eat. For most of them, we'll talk about some from time to time, but I won't get into really long lists of them because then the video just becomes an hour-long thing, and I don't want it to be that long. Would you recommend renting first before buying? Oh, this is a loaded question. The realtor side of me says no, never rent. Why waste money in rent that you're never going to get any equity out of it? But at the same time, if you do not know the area, it's not always a bad option to find a place to rent. Just know you're going to spend $1,800, possibly even more, to rent for 12 months. And so, if you have, let's just use for ease of numbers, $2,000 a month, that's $24,000 in rent for 12 months that you're going to spend while you figure out where you want to be. What I usually suggest to people is, as you get close to making the move, you want to make a few trips to the area, get yourself familiarized with it, figure out what area fits your needs best, and then focus in on that the next time you come back. It's usually good to take a couple trips, kind of visit the area, get to figure out which area you want to call home. So hopefully that answers your question. It's kind of a, yes, renting wastes money, but at the same time, I can see the other side of it. I personally, as someone who lives here, will not pay rent again because it's just money wasted. As I've shared in the past, my wife and I, we lost our home back in 2008, when the market completely crashed. And we were forced into renting from 2009 to 2019. It was over $120,000 that we spent in rent, that at the end of the day, yes, we had a home, we had a roof over our heads, but we had zero equity, zero wealth built during it. Home ownership is one of the best ways to grow your wealth over your life. Let's see here. Mary wants to know my take on Murrells Inlet. It's a great area. I have several clients that live down that way. They absolutely love it. I just recently sold a house. Lori, I don't know if you're on tonight watching, but she bought down in the Myrtles Inlet area. She absolutely loves being down there. She's a single woman who moved here with her cats, loves living in Myrtles Inlet. Like I said, I have no problem with any section of the beach. I tell people all the time, I'm an equal opportunity. I'll help you purchase wherever you want to be. I'll share the reasons why I like where I live with you. But at the same time, I learned long ago it's more important to help you get in an area you want to be instead of me trying to force you in an area that I like. Um, they're all great sections. Some people I work with only want to be in the inlet. Other people say, don't take me anywhere near the inlet. It's too far south. I have others who say, take me to the northern end. Others want to be in Conway. It just depends on your specific needs and wants and desires. If you like the inlet, we can find you some great options down there for sure. All right, Chris came in. Let's see what Chris said. Thank you, Jeremy, for educating us. Loved your video on communities with amenities. Awesome. Glad you found that valuable. We're going to start doing, like I said, a couple more community tours, neighborhood tours, and it's going to be great. Let's see here. RGX says, moving with kids under 11, where to socialize, find other kids in Carolina Forest. There's great neighborhoods everywhere, all throughout Carolina Forest. No doubt about it. There's really, really good options. I live in the Carolina Forest area. I have a soon-to-be 10-year-old. She has no problem making friends in our neighborhood at all. She's also the socialite of the family, so she doesn't know a stranger. She takes after her mom. I call it kind of the Mickey Mouse effect. If you ever go to Disney and you see Mickey Mouse waves at you and always, the face has the big smile on it like he's known you her whole life, right? His whole life, right? Well, that's my youngest, and that's my wife. Never met a stranger, never met somebody they're not afraid to say hello to and smile at. So finding a place, not a problem. All right, let's see here. GTI wants to know best restaurant on the water. So best restaurant on the beach, my favorite is probably Sea Captain's House. Best restaurant on the actual water, I would have to go with Clark's Seafood and Chop House up in Little River. If I bring it up here on the map, let's bring this up here a minute. Clark's Seafood. This is probably one of my favorite restaurants to eat. Right there, you can see. Oh, it went away too fast. Let's bring it back. This is the filet Napoleon on the screen. Let me hide the question here so you can see it. So this is the filet Napoleon. It has a bed of Parmesan risotto with asparagus, a filet mignon on top of it. This right here is a crab cake. And then it has this cream sauce and a reduced vinaigrette over the top of it. And if we bring up the menu, let's see if we can bring up the menu here and see what the price is. It's been a little while since I've been there, so let's see if they still have the prices on here. So if we come down here and we look at signature dishes, so it's $46 for that dish. I think it is an extremely great price for what you get and probably one of the best meals you can find in all of Myrtle Beach. Definitely one of my favorite spots to grab something. Mary says, thank you for your expertise. You're welcome. And then she says, I'm torn between the north, where the dance clubs are, and the south, and where more nature and wildlife. That's a good quandary. It's definitely something you'll have to decide. There are some sections on the northern end where you can find a little bit more of the mature landscape and things like that. Let me pull up here a minute and see if I can find you a good option. So let's bring this up here. All right, so this is River Hills, which is up in the northern end. And in here you'll find there's a lot of mature landscape that's going to be around the houses. So here's one. Here's another one. You can see how there's a lot of nice mature trees all around the home. If we look at it in here, this is on a golf course. So it has some great shots of the golf course as well. Let's see if they show some other pictures of the yard. This one has an aerial. Here you go. So if we look, here's where the house sits. You can see there's a lot of nice mature landscape that's around the area. great options. A lot of people like having those shade trees, and so this is an awesome option for you. And it's on the golf course. This home, just to give you an idea, and I just picked a random one, 385, 3 bedroom, 2 bath on that house. Hmm. All right. RGX wants to know where's the best hot chicken place. Well, you're in the South, so fried chicken is everywhere. There's tons of places for it. We usually grab Bojangles and take it home. Nice Cajun style chicken. There's also some great chicken at Tupelo Honey Cafe. They have a hot chicken version and then the regular. It's like a chicken and waffles dish. Very, very good also. Best Chinese in Carolina Forest. Ooh, that's easy. That one, my friend, is Dragon Pan. If we come back here to our map and we bring this in, get up here, sits right here behind my office. It's a great little Chinese takeout. Here's my office where it sits, and here is the Lowe's, and right here sits Dragon Pan. Nice little Chinese takeout spot in Carolina Forest. Probably has some of the best stuff around. Let's see here. And Steve says, looking at the different sites like Zillow, how accurate is home insurance estimate? Usually fairly close. Honestly, Steve, I don't know. And the reason I don't know is that I don't go on those sites very often and look at those numbers. I always tell people who want to know insurance quotes to speak to my insurance person to get kind of the most accurate up to date. It is definitely determined by the age of the roof. A new home, which is one of the reasons too why I am a big fan of new construction, your insurance on a new property is going to be significantly less than one that's 15, 20 years old on the roof. A new home, might be $1,600 for a year, where a home that's 20 years old might be 3,000, 4,000. Could easily be that. Maybe not quite that bad, but it's significantly going to be more, usually 40% more, I would say. So anyway, guys, wow, it's 7:40. I've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. Hopefully y'all are getting some information on this tonight. I am going to probably wrap this up here in a few minutes because my wife's probably going to wonder where I'm at. But if you have any other questions, I'm going to give you a minute to type them in. While you're doing that, we'll jump back here a minute. Let me see if I can pull up. Oh, I don't think I can. Give me a second here. I want to show you as well. If I come in here to the studio, I'll show you another little clip of one of the things that I'm working on, which I think is pretty cool. And here you go. Check this out. So as you can see, this is just kind of a simple drive through. And, if we even just fast forward a little bit, you'll just see going through, showing out some of the different streets. So you can see we have this that's going to be coming out too in that channel. Like I said, this is 23 minutes of me just driving through the neighborhood, showing you what it looks like. This is inside Berkshire Forest. So as you can see, the homes here were built 2004 through 2006, a lot of them. So the trees have had a chance to regrow up. They're taller than the house now again. And so the mature landscaping is starting to come back into the area. So anyway, let's go back here, answer out a few more questions, and then we're going to probably head out for the night here. But let's see. Herb said, um, can you tell me about Grand Dunes, Myrtle Beach 29572? Wife and I are in our 60s. I'm retired and wife will retire soon. Love Surfside Beach, but would like your thoughts. Looking at 845 Monterosa Drive. Okay, he gave me a specific address. I like that. So let's go over here and let's do this instead. 845 Monterosa. There it is. Let's hit search here and pull this up. And we're going to go to here. And I'm going to hide your question so we can look at it together. So this is in Cipriana Park. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath home. It is, if we pull in the map here a little bit, you can see kind of where it's located on the map. So it's not too far off of, I believe this is right near, isn't it right off of 67th Avenue, I believe, in this area. I know where the area is, but it's a great home. Let's see here, 2,000 heated square feet. The home was built in 2015, so it's about 9 years old. Your monthly HOA is $211 a month, and looks like a great home. A lot of nice features in it. I love the coffered ceilings. Love the open floor plan. High ceilings in there as well. Has a pond, it looks like, out the back and like a Carolina room out there. Very nice looking kitchen area. I like the double ovens. We have a double ovens in our house, and I absolutely love it. Looks like a great home, Herb. If you want to get more information on this or want to schedule some time to go look at it, shoot me an email and we can definitely get something scheduled to go look at it in person. My guess is that it probably won't last too terribly long. The yard is fenced in. There's your view out to the pond behind it. Looks very nice. And then, as I was talking a little bit while ago, there's the beachfront resort that you get access to as well with the community pool. Like I said, there's a bar and a full restaurant upstairs as well. But this is inside city limits of Myrtle Beach. Great looking home. I personally am a fan of Myrtle Beach over Surfside. I don't like going down 544 into that section of Surfside Beach. Traffic just gets a little too much for me at time. Let's see here. Mary Culp says, Hippie Hen House in Myrtle's Inlet has yummy crab cake, all crab. Nice. I'll have to go check it out. Steve said, thanks for all your help. No problem. Doris said, thank you. Mary said, thank you. RGX says, yum, crab cake, Mary. Yeah. Let's see here. If looking in the Myrtle's Inlet area, check out Judy Boone's for a great country buffet. Reasonable price with the salad bar. And thank you, Jeremy. Thanks, Jeremy. One of these days we'll come say hello at your office. Okay. And Herb says thanks as well. So anyway, guys, as we're wrapping things up here tonight, I just want to say this. If you're thinking about making the move to the area, YouTube, it's a fun little thing that I do on the side. My full-time job is a full-time realtor here with Remax Southern Shores. I have been selling now in the Myrtle Beach area for almost 24 years. September will be 24 years that I've been selling. So if you have questions about making the move to the area, want somebody to help you with it, feel free to reach out to me. My email, it's real easy. It's info@jeremyblanton.com. And you can see it scrolling across the bottom of the screen here. Or if you want to talk, want to learn more about the area, go over to jeremyblanton.com. And I'm going to pull this up. I did this last time we met together, and I'll show you again here as we close out. If you go over here to jeremyblanton.com and you just look, you can see here is my schedule. And you can simply click on a day and click on a time that you want and schedule it. And you fill out some basic information, and I will call you at that time. We will talk just like your voice you're hearing now. It's just going to be on the phone, and we will discuss your move to the area and get a game plan together to make what you want to do here in our area a possibility and a reality, and do it as simple and as easy as possible. I do this full time and would love to help you guys make the move to the area. Make things good for you. Make life as a beach. I talk about that in one of the videos that's coming up. Life's a beach and the beach lifestyle. You will love it here. I can guarantee you, as someone who has lived here now since 1998, it is a fantastic place to live. Anyway, as always, hope you guys enjoyed tonight's stream. If you haven't already done so, do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up. Tell everybody how awesome I am. I would love for you to do that. And if you haven't done this before, get the subscribe button on. Hit that subscribe right now. Join the group. That way you'll get notified when we're doing more of these lives in the future. And as always, thank you so much. Let's see here. One more comment came in. Brenda said, thanks. Thank you. No, thank you all for joining in tonight. I hope you all enjoyed tonight's stream. I look forward to talking to some of you here in the near future. And for those of you that are going to be buying in the next 6 months or so, reach out. I'm here to help you however I can. Anyway, I hope you all have an awesome night. And I'm going to call it a night now on that note. So y'all have a good one. See ya.